Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Artists of Color. I am Elaine Hall-Corbin, your host, and I am glad you're with us today because we have a special guest. We all know I always say that because all my guests are special. But today I have a special guest. I didn't expect to have her today, but I got her.
Really?
No, I thought about having you for a while, but we never really got a chance to talk about it.
Okay.
So this year at the Roxbury International Film Festival, where she and I first met,
Yes.
I said, okay, we're going to do this now. And I asked her, and she was so excited, and she said yes. So today, my guest is Andrea Lyman. Andrea, thank you for coming on and gracing us with your presence.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
You're
I
welcome.
love it.
Oh my gosh. You know, like I said before, I remember when we first met. And I met you when you came out to talk on the stage
Yes.
about the film festival and telling everybody, don't forget to watch the daily reads.
Yes.
And that's when I started watching the daily reads.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and I've been watching them ever since.
Oh, great. And they're also on YouTube after the festival.
Yes, I've been catching up on the ones I missed this time.
Because fortunately, SAG-AFTRA has a contract where we can do it, where we can film things and then they can be in film festivals like this.
Oh, wonderful.
Yes.
Oh, that
Yes.
is great.
So we have
That
a
is
lot of professional actors that
so
do
are
it.
all the script readers, are they all from what, SAG?
SAG-AFTRA,
SAG-AFTRA?
a lot of them are, most of them are members of our union, and some of them are not. But with our, micro budget agreement, you can mix the cast. It can be union and non-union as long as it's under $20,000 and a few other
Some
things.
of the weird things.
Yep, and it's been, we started the daily reads during shutdown, COVID.
Yes, COVID.
Yeah, because the whole
Everything
film
was shut
festival
down.
was virtual
Yes.
that year. We were trying to figure out how can we do a festival. I mean, definitely didn't happen in June because nobody was doing anything then.
No, they weren't.
But we
wasn't.
all kept meeting, and then October we had a film festival, and it was the first time everything was online.
Oh,
and
yes.
one of the things to come out of that was the daily reads, because I'd been doing readings with other groups, you know, when shutdown happened. It was just happening all over the place.
Everywhere.
And so we figured this is a good opportunity for writers to, some of them were new and some of them are seasoned writers, but they're always working on something. And so this is a chance to hear your work. You know, like this past time we had Lois Roach. Very seasoned writer.
Yes.
Very seasoned writer. And she just wanted to hear. She had worked on some scenes of a film that she's writing, and she wanted to see how it would sound, and so got a bunch of actors to do it.
Okay, now that one she did Leo and
Leonard,
and
Lena and Leonard.
Lena and Leonard. Wasn't that reading part of another reading that was done?
She had done it the year before.
And
She
I
had done
saw
a
it.
bunch of scenes and a lot of people, and so this she wanted to do it again. Only she had added some scenes and added some nuances, and that's how we've gotten that. We've had a few people that either they like John. Oh my goodness, how am I forgetting his name? I forgot, but it's something with the A. But he had a film in the film festival, and then he also had a film that he was working on, a sci-fi film, which we did a reading for. Not this year, but I think it was a couple of years ago.
Oh, okay.
And it was really cool. And some of the thing about the reading, which is different, is that any actor can play
Any
anything.
role.
Yes. And so mainly have Black actors, because the film festival, and so sometimes they'll be playing and the narrator say so and so is white, and so
Right,
that
but
you'll know.
this is-
Because
yes.
Lisa Simmons last year we had one of her works.
pieces, yes.
And some of the folks were white. There were also some people that were identical twins. and we were trying to figure out, so how do we do the identical twin? And you know, we did that kind of a thing so that you would know that these were twins, and you know, and that whole kind of thing.
I love the readings. When I couldn't get in after I got in for the first one, and I couldn't get in for the rest of them, I was highly upset. Because that was one of my, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have gotten to see the rest of them.
And you can still see them, because you can go to Rox Films YouTube channel.
I've been watching the rest of them since you sent, you know.
Oh, yay.
Yeah, I've gotten to see the rest of them, so I'm really excited about that. I want to get a little bit of history on you.
Okay.
First thing I want to know, are you a Bostonian?
Kind of. We moved here when I was about 11 or 12.
Really?
Yeah, we moved a lot. My dad was a nuclear physicist, actually rocket scientist. So they work project to project.
Yes.
So we lived a couple of places in New York, and then about 6 places in California, and then a couple of places in Massachusetts. So 10th grade was my 10th school.
10th grade was your 10th school?
Yep. In so many different schools.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Did you like did you find it fun at that age to be traveling a lot? Because
sometimes. There were a couple that were difficult. So one I didn't even remember was difficult, and that was the first move from New York to California. I remembered it as something great, but my mom said, no, I complained the whole time.
Uh-oh. Mom said it wasn't right for you, you just frustrated.
And it's sort of also the memory of it, for me, was different from what actually happened, because I happened to be telling somebody about it, and I said, yeah, my mother and I drove across country, and my dad joined us for a little bit of the trip. And my mother said, no, he was with us the whole time. And I said, I didn't remember that. I remembered being in a hotel with you. And she said, as we drove, one place, he had a job interview somewhere else, so he had to fly to the job interview, and we stayed at a hotel for like a night, and then he came back and we drove. But I only remembered being at the hotel with my mother by the pool.
And that was it.
Yeah, that's.
You didn't remember Dad until later.
I did, yeah. And then later he came, and I remember, I guess we drove through Texas or something, and he said, "Oh, there's the Duke's house," and I said, "Who?" And he said, John Wayne.
Oh,
didn't you know that? But you know, I was like 6, so it meant nothing to me.
You weren't thinking about that.
So that was a cool trip.
Oh, nice.
And also a weird segue, but because people have been talking a lot lately about racism, Green Book, all that kind of thing.
Yes.
So apparently, as we drove, there was another family that we happened to see when we were stopping to eat and stuff like that, and they were a white family. And then we were, I think it was in New Mexico, my mom said, there was a hotel. They had reservations along the way.
Okay.
And this one, I guess they didn't know we were black, so they didn't let us in the hotel. And they were saying, well, maybe you can find somewhere else. And they did find a hotel across the street, and so we stayed there, but weren't allowed to eat like where everybody else ate. They opened up a special dining room for us. And my mom said, the other little boy said, "Oh, there she is. How come she's over there? Why can't we play?" And I had no idea. They, you know, my parents definitely protected me from all of that.
Wow. Were you an only child?
Are
you an only child?
No, I'm not. And it is so funny because I'm always tempted to answer. You see how I almost said,
yes,
I was. And it's like, no, I'm not. At that time, I was.
You were.
But yeah, I have a brother.
Oh, nice. Is he in the arts?
No, unfortunately, I call what he has like COVID adjacent, in that he was in AA and all of that, and then when lockdown happened, he couldn't figure out Zoom and couldn't figure out how to get to meetings, so he started drinking again and basically fried his brain, so he's in a place now, in a facility. He will never fully have his memory back. Is some of it, but
sorry.
Yeah, it's weird how certain things
it's
like
funny because you're talking about that, because I had a niece who passed away a couple of years ago.
Oh.
And during COVID, she got into things that she didn't come back from. So I understand.
Yeah, there were different things that were. I had a cousin who sort of, I think, COVID adjacent died because she had some issues, physical. But if not for COVID, she would have been going to church and people would have noticed.
There you go.
And then, and also would have been going to the doctor, because remember, people weren't going to the
doctors
either,
then. That's right.
because it
That
wasn't
is right.
safe. And then
That's very true.
She died, but yeah, that's all sad.
Yeah, it's it's a lot of things happened during that time to many people.
Yeah.
Even in the arts, because I remember watching the Audacity with BAMS doing their Audacity program, and I learned a lot from that. Between that and the Roxbury Film Festival coming online and seeing different films, then it made you think about us as a people and the stories that we tell and the stories that we put on film to tell our stories.
And it's funny because with COVID and the shutdown and all of that, there were artists and organizations and everything that sort of shut down, but there are those who bloomed because they figured out how to do things online. I mean, I was in a web series that they filmed during COVID, and it was the kind of thing where you set up your camera in your home, and then on Zoom, a sound person would tell you, okay, this is what you need to do with this mic. Then the person that does camera and everything, this is what you need to do, and this is what you put your phone on this and that and the other, and then wardrobe would come. They did all of that through Zoom, and then they would tell you what would be like where to look. So because you're just doing it by yourself, but the other person is maybe, nope, put your eyes a little farther down. Yes, because that's where that other person supposedly is. Because you don't see the other person. They're on Zoom somewhere else.
Now, it's funny you're talking about that, because I have some musician friends of mine who did every week on Monday evening, they did live Zoom and had an entire show. And it was on from 7 to 8 every Monday night, and I never missed it. So it was great. And they had the setup in one of the musicians' household, and he had his studio and everything down in his basement. So everything was like right there.
Yeah.
And that was, I'm just saying, how did they do that?
And some people have continued.
Yes.
Now it's just a regular thing that there are people that are doing their work, dancers, artists, just regularly filming themselves. And the way now for actors, for auditions, I mean, I was brought in kicking and screaming that we do self-tapes, but now it's
the thing
sometimes
to do.
I find it easier. Sometimes, and now we have a choice because SAG-AFTRA has contracts. So you have a choice whether you go in person or do it. And
virtual,
what used to be is you'd get an audition, and if you were working or something that day, then you have to make your choice. Well, I can't take that booking because I have this audition, or I have to miss the audition. Now you don't have to miss an audition.
You don't.
You can do it anytime because you're doing it at home.
And
so people have, set up their studios and all of that. So some parts of it are good. And the readings, I like that. Not just the daily read, but there's another group that I'm with that has writers that are working on things, and then they have some actors. And every other Sunday, we just read the work. That's not like for public or anything. It's just for the writers.
Nice.
But I suggest that for writers all the time, because you write something and it sounds one way in your head, but then you hear actors read it.
And so, because I like that part, we always ask that particular question during during the daily reads. What did you hear or see that you would have done, you would have changed when you were writing the script? Because I like listening to what the actors and actresses have to say to answer into that question. It's quite interesting.
We had more female identifying actors than male, and more male written
Right,
roles.
roles.
So I cast some of the women in the male roles, and one of the
I
writers
noticed that.
said, "Oh, you heard the one where the guy
Yes.
said, you know what? Hadn't thought of it that way, but now, and, that was really
It was
great."
quite interesting. I like to notice that because, I cover a lot of different events as not only as a producer, but as a cultural writer. So I go to different organizations and I go to different art and cultural programmings, and I notice that. I pick up on that. Like you'll hear something and you'll say, well, that's actually great, but doesn't that sound like that should have been a male role, or shouldn't it have been a female role? So yeah. So I understand that the way that comes about, and I like listening to the answers from the Daily Read cast, and thought that is great.
Yeah, because one of the actors had asked that I cast in one of the male roles. So, I'm not good at pretending to be. I said, no, you don't pretend to be a man. You just read the role.
That's
you read
it.
the role as you would read that role. And
True.
then, it's different because if I'm playing a guy, if it's a tough guy and I'm, I'm all tough like this, I'm not going to go, oh, I'm all tough like
No,
I'm not going to change
you're
my
not.
voice. That's ridiculous. But you get the gist.
Exactly.
Oh, I'm so sweet, or you get the gist from the way the person is acting.
Yes. How long have you? Because reading your bio, I noticed you're a singer
Yes, that's
A
my first
producer?
love, singing.
and an actor.
Yes.
Actor. I like to call females actresses. What you said, singing was your first love.
Yes.
Tell me, how did that begin?
It began when I was a child listening to record albums.
There
The
you
young
go. I
folks
remember
don't know what
those.
are. And the liner notes on the back, my mom would read the story. And so it would be something like Madame Butterfly or My Fair Lady or Porgy and Bess, whatever. She's reading the story and I'm hearing the songs and then I'm singing along with them.
Oh, wow.
I know most of my family hates Sound of Music because I think I sang it for 4 years. All the parts. Because I loved it. That was our life.
It's funny because I did too. I loved it. And remember when it used to started coming on TV? And
Yes.
oh my gosh.
Yes.
Never wanted to miss it.
I remember I actually saw it first in the movie theater.
You
And this
did?
was the
I
first
didn't.
time that I had been to a movie where it was only one movie. Because it used to always be double features.
Yes.
And this one had, it was one movie that had an intermission in the middle of Sound of Music. And this was different. And when it ended, people were like, what's the next movie? People were ready for another movie.
Another movie. But they didn't realize it was that was the break, and the rest of the movie came after that.
Yeah.
I remember those too.
Yep. And so when I majored in musical theater at Boston Conservatory.
You too. Okay.
Oh, you went there? Oh, I loved it. I loved musical theater. My actual experiences there, well,
Yep, I know.
it was only a few black folks. And
hanging
so
out there.
they had me playing the old embittered parts because that'd be the
Because
black
that's
person.
there you go.
And so I was not playing ingenues, even though that's what I was fit for. And I knew I wasn't going to look the old embittered part for years because I looked younger than my age.
There you go.
And I remember one where I auditioned and what did I sing? Can't Help Loving That Man. Fish gotta swim and birds gotta fly. They said my audition was one of the best of everyone.
Oh.
But I did not get the lead role. And the person that got the lead role was somebody white and blonde and that had already done roles and not done them well. And so I asked about it, and they're like, "Oh no, well,
Yeah, right.
for
Okay, we
you,"
got
and-
that one already.
Yeah, and so it was that kind
We
of
knew
thing.
it.
And so when I went to New York, I got more things and here, but then that's sort of what made me do my own show, Broadway Lady, because
wanna
I
talk
can do
about
whatever
that.
songs I want,
Yes.
for the
What
show.
made you want? So is that what made you want to do a one
One woman show because I love singing. And I love singing show tunes, and that would be a way that I could do it. So I could do the songs that I want, and also I can mix and match. So it'll be like, I like this song from the show, but not really that one, and certain shows it's it. So, yeah. Wow. Absolutely.
Did you tour? Like, where did you?
I've sung, I've done the show in Europe. I did it on a cruise ship. I did it
Oh my.
New York, and then now here. Mass Housing has this program called the TAP program.
Really?
And it's different artists that they have for all their residences.
I've never heard
And
of
so
that.
you just, you know, they
Okay.
book you and you sing. Like I did a show in Salem Heights on Tuesday.
I thought this was off. Oh my God.
It's okay.
Wow.
And that was, it's kind of fun because I can sing. And sometimes, since it's my own show, I can feel out the audience. So sometimes I'll start with one show and it's like, this looks like a more lively audience. I'm going to do some more popular sing-along songs, and I'll pick those. Like, there's no business like show business. See how you sing along?
Yes, I know.
So if it was you, I'd be doing that rather than behind a hill, there's a busy little still, and you don't know the words, so you're listening to it, but you're not going to be able to sing along.
Sing along with it.
So I'll figure out, this group is going to like this song, this group's going to like.
So because you filled out the.
Yeah, because I can mix and match, and I have a little bit more control over it. So I like that because I get to do stuff. And then I actually got to do a musical Mother's Day.
You did?
Called
Where?
Momalogues. So it's
Mama.
Yeah, so it's, and it was a
Momalogues.
group of women. They do it cabaret style. And we're all telling stories of motherhood. And it's based on true stories. So the writer, Lisa Rafferty, actually, she and her friends wrote it, and this is stuff that actually happened in their lives. Wow. And so the songs, like I had one song, it was where this woman says, oh, I have finally found a way to get a mommy vacation. I've gotten a vacation for me. Ah, it's so beautiful. Colonoscopy. I got a colonoscopy. I said, day to myself. And it's like all this stuff that she's singing about because she had no time. She had small kids.
She had never any time.
No time for herself. So, you know.
Oh, so that got
funny.
it. She said, I've got time for myself.
Yep, and then they'd have all these like little momisms that, you know, all the things that moms say. Because I said so, da-da-da-da, you know, and all that kind of stuff.
Wow.
It was so much fun.
That sounds great. Where did you do this?
Club Cafe. Club Cafe. I did it like Mother's Day week.
Right.
So,
that is beautiful.
Yeah.
I like that. Monologues.
Yeah,
I like
it's
that.
a lot of fun.
But that would be something you'd do again?
Oh yeah, I mean, they'd have to ask
for
me,
it.
but yes, I definitely would, and I just loved the humor throughout the show.
Oh yeah, see,
There's one song I sang with another woman, and it was talking about with teenage kids, and you know, I told them I never drank or never did that, and I lied, and, you know, it's like all that kind of stuff. And then there was another one where it's three women doing a Christmas letter.
Oh,
you know,
okay.
and it was like all the things that they make up, you know, you know, all these wonderful things that they say happened. Yeah,
that is great.
It was fun. I love that.
Now, singing was your first love.
Yes.
How did acting get into that?
Well, because the two kind of go together. I like musicals, so I majored in. And at the time, they didn't have very many. That were musical theater. When I was first looking at colleges, you could have music major and a theater major, but not together. And Boston Conservatory was one of the only ones that had a musical theater major.
Oh, wow.
So we studied singing, dance, acting, theater history, everything.
Beautiful. I want to talk more about that, but we are going to go to a break, and when we come back, I want you to continue that part of our conversation.
Thank you.
We'll be right back.
You're sure Blanca wants no part of her father's estate? He was very adamant that she be taken care of. Excuse me.
It's all right here, in her own words.
Okay, well, just to reiterate, if she changes her mind,
She won't.
she has until 8 p.m. Christmas night to claim her share.
Oh, believe me, my one wish is that she shows up. We're throwing a party, hopeful that she will change her mind. You'll be there, of course.
I will, and we can finalize everything then.
Wonderful. Well, then we'll see you tomorrow night.
I have a meeting. Excuse me.
Hennessy, don't trust your mind.
You're safe now. You're in America. Dr. Kenny's on her way.
Dr. Kinney? My torturer?
No, Dr. Kenny is here to help you. She's helping you to forget.
The rest of my unit will be here in a minute.
Tom, your unit is dead.
You didn't even live in Alston when you were in college.
Mom.
Do you live in Alston?
Brookline, but like right there. I'll be just a few blocks from Hart and Brendan.
How do you like the neighborhood?
It's cool.
It was kind of a dump even back when I was in college.
It's a fun part of town.
When you're young, I guess. Hartley's always had a thing for slumming it.
Welcome back to Artists of Color. I'm Elaine Hall-Corbin, your host, and my guest is Andrea Lyman. And we just got to see a few of her, I would say, debuts and
Films, yeah.
films. They were interesting. The one I really liked, I thought was whoa, was the one, you're playing an attorney?
Oh, yes, the
And
Christmas
the
film.
Christmas, and the woman saying, "Oh, and I hope we're throwing a party, and I hope she shows." And it's like, yeah, right.
Yeah, it's a Snow White Christmas.
Oh, is that
So,
what
yeah,
that is?
Yeah, take off on Snow White story, a fable. So for me, it was great. Fairy tale and Christmas movie? Yay.
All in one. That was nice. Did you write did you do the writing of the?
Oh, no, that was a
that was-
professional. Oh, yeah, that's
that
on
was a
Ion
profe-
TV and all of that.
I missed
I
that
wrote
one.
none of the films.
Oh, okay. You just start in them.
Yeah.
That was really good. And the other one was about the young lady. You asked her about where she was living.
Oh,
and did she-
Alston Christmas.
Oh,
Yes.
Those
and
were all
that's-
Christmas.
Alston Christmas.
Alston
So
Christmas.
Alston, anyone that's from Massachusetts
I'm from
probably knows
Massachusetts.
Alston Christmas, where the students put out all their stuff when they're
Oh,
moving.
when they're
And so that's why they
moving.
call it Alston Christmas, because around Alston you can find new things.
That's true.
As I did when I was in college. I found a trundle bed.
It's funny because I have a friend
Nowadays
of mine
we probably wouldn't do
would
that.
find that.
No, I mean you wouldn't
No,
take
you wouldn't.
it.
No, because you don't know what's in
Yeah,
there.
but then, found
Yeah,
all kind of stuff.
Because a friend of mine I used to ride with her. She used to go out and go hunting for those things, you know,
Yep.
when the kids were leaving to go home.
People
in
still
August.
do, because it's perfectly usable
Yes.
things. It's just that they're moving, so they can't take them, so they put it out on the street.
But then again, like you said, you wouldn't do that now.
I remember the audition for that was so funny because they said, "Oh, do you have any questions about the character or anything?" I said, "Well, she's a suburban mom from Newton that's a little bit snobby about where her son is going to be moving and who he's with." And I said, "And I'm in Newton, and the nephew that I raised has just moved into a neighborhood that I feel a little bit snobby about in
Okay.
Poughkeepsie, New York." So I said, "Yeah, very much."
Yep, there you go.
Because, kids' first neighborhoods that they move to usually are ones that you're like, yikes.
Like, why am I
And they're
here?
like, "Yes, this is so great. We
Yeah.
have this room here." And it's like,
I got it, and thank you.
That was funny.
You've done film.
Yes,
A lot
and
of-
I have been able to check off a bunch of bucket list things. Like, I couldn't believe it. Like Black Panther, when that was made, I said, "Oh, I would just love to someday, be in a Black Panther film, even if it's background, but I guess somehow get to Atlanta and do it. And then found out they were doing scenes from Black Panther here, Black Panther 2
Yes.
in Massachusetts. And so I heard that they were doing it, and I just sent out to all the casting directors saying, oh, but they couldn't say anything. Nobody could say anything because it was secret.
Still, yes.
But then I knew about when it was happening, and so they were casting for a film that they named something entirely different, like Summer Shack or something like that. And I said, I think that's the Black Panther. I'm submitting for it, and I did, and I got it, and it was fantastic.
Oh, this is amazing.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yes. And working on it, of course, we had to sign the NDA, but usually we sign that. But this time, it was like, wow, I really knew things that I didn't tell. So I didn't tell anyone anything because it was like who was in the scene mattered greatly in that one. Because I don't think you haven't seen it. But Black Panther 2, when they come here, major characters that are in
Really?
Yes. Yes, and it's like a plot thing because it's like, oh, if this character's here, then this means that has happened for their movie. And so there's all that kind of stuff too, because it's Marvel, so you know. They do that.
Yes.
So that one, and another one that was dream come true was being in a Christmas musical, Spirited. It runs on Apple. It was so much fun. There's singing, there's dancing.
Oh, so you had a little bit of everything in there.
Yeah, it was a musical version of a Christmas Carol, sort of a take on it, only from the perspective of the ghosts.
Oh, really? Oh.
And they had dancers that I recognized.
Can you find that online?
Oh yeah, on Apple TV, Apple Plus.
Oh, okay, good. 'Cause I got
Yeah, it's
Apple
definitely
Plus.
there.
I'm going to look for that one. I'd like to see it.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
You know? And then there was a couple of films from the film festival that I saw you in.
Yes.
What was it? The
This time
The
I
Ugly
was-
Sweater.
Yeah, Ugly Sweater. So it's kind of funny. I have 3 films that are touring around film festivals this summer.
Yes.
One of them, Crooked Finger, and the Crooked Finger and Come On In are 2 different films that I'm
Come
in.
On In.
Come On In was at the film festival, where I play a normal person and just having normal conversation, and when I leave or the person leaves me, everything falls apart. In both films, just coincidentally.
Really?
Yes. So in Come On In, I'm the mom and everything, and then I leave, and his life falls apart. And in Crooked Finger, person's coming in for a job interview and everything's fine. I'm a normal character, and they get a phone call of something that's happened, and they leave.
They have to
and
leave.
then their life just everything falls
apart.
But I'm not part of it. I'm just, you know. And then now I've looked at horror movies that way and say, who's the person that never experiences the horror?
Okay.
Because that happens in horror movies and thrillers. There'd
There's
be somebody
always
that's just sitting there, and there's that scene, and then right after, nee, nee, nee.
Yep.
And so that happened. On both of
Exactly.
those.
Oh my goodness. What did you think? I watched The Ugly Sweater.
Oh, that was fun.
And when I first watched it, when I was there watching it in the film, and I'm saying, I couldn't understand why it was called The Ugly Sweater.
Because she went to an ugly sweater party, and that was that sweater that was magical that she got.
Right, and I knew it was magical, which made me wonder, why is it called The Ugly Sweater when it was magical?
Because she went to an ugly sweater party. That's why she bought it.
Right. But did she, well, I guess the film.
You know, like how it's ugly sweater only because it's Christmas sweater.
Okay.
You know, and remember how some people like had the Rudolph Red-Nosed Reindeer, all that kind of stuff. So that was the theme of the party that she went to.
Okay, right.
So that's how it got that. And the lead on that, oh my God, am I gonna? Deja Monique Cruz is a Disney kid. You know,
she is?
Yeah. On the Disney Channel, on those TV shows, she's been in some of those, and I think, what's the one she's in? It's one with basketball. I forgot which one it was, but she's like in that one she plays the lead, like the teenager's best friend that really likes him, but he doesn't notice
That she
that
likes
kind
him.
of thing. And what was fun on that movie was some of my scenes were in her imagination.
Yes, I noticed
So,
that.
yeah, so it's what a kid would think. And everybody does that, especially if you have a sibling. You think, oh, they're always like that. And there's the scene where her sister's there, and I said, oh,
Yes.
she's perfect. Is there anything you can't do? Don't mess this up.
Yeah.
like that's the thing that we do. And it's like, that's how a kid hears it. And I know I've heard that with my parents, like, oh, the way they treat him compared to me, and anybody with a sibling, anybody with a sibling has been through
That's
that kind of
true.
thing where you think the parents
I was,
are treating the other one so
so
differently.
differently.
It's just so not fair.
Yeah. And that was funny because my mother never did that, but my grandparents did.
Did the
Treating, because I had sibling too. So my grandparents treated me different from my baby sister. Yeah. So it was, so
was there a reason, or they just happened to do it?
I could never understand. That was something I never, ever understood.
Because my grandparents treated you, the way they treated you depended on who your parent married.
Oh, okay.
So if they didn't like the husband or
Husband or the
wife,
wife.
of that their child married, they didn't like the child. They liked my dad, so I got treated nicely. But my grandmother, that's what I've heard from other people, they didn't like the person that married in. Then they.
But then, if you're a single mother,
If what?
A single mother of 2 children, that's, I think, is a little different too, because my mom was, and yeah.
No, I'm just realizing there were no single mothers. There were people that should have been single mothers because they were in a horrible, horrible, horrible marriage. But they weren't single because they stayed and then until the person died, and then you're a widow, and then it's
That's right.
different. But yeah, and I remember one time my grandmother said, and at the time I didn't know what she was talking about, I was a kid, she said, I never had to hang my head over any of my girls. I had no idea what that meant.
I've never even heard of that.
Well, it's in the South, farmland
Yep,
in the South.
Mom.
And so my aunt said that meant nobody got pregnant out of wedlock. And the other thing was she had, my mom was 13 of 16 kids.
Whoa.
I know. And my grandmother apparently never used the word pregnant or anything like that, never, because you just didn't then. So they would say, oh, I think she's, like that. Well, she's,
Oh my goodness.
and that kind
I
of
think
thing.
she's. Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
That is interesting. That is quite interesting. Being an actress, what do you like most about being an actress?
I like that you get to enter into so many different worlds.
I know, I've never heard it said like that.
Like so many things, like the play reading group that I'm with every other week. I never know until that day who I'm going to play. And aside from male or female, there was one where there's some where they go back in time. There was one where it was sort of a takeoff on the Wizard of Oz. So they were in there, only they used Wizard of Oz, but it was also oh my goodness, how am I going to forget? The town that was completely demolished. It was burned. They had planes going down.
Are you talking
Blacktown.
Tulsa, Oklahoma?
Thank you. I don't know why.
never forget
it was,
that.
I know, I was just forgetting the name. But so the background of this play is that's the flashback that they had experienced this, and this one girl had gotten out. She lived, and they sent her to live with another family. And then she ends up on this magical journey that's sort of like Wizard of Oz, and they knock on a door, and then bit by bit you find out this history. It's been hidden and all of that. So
That is interesting.
but just another way of going into that world, and then the sci-fi worlds and all of this stuff that
yes.
you never know, and different kinds of characters.
That you're going to be playing.
And even when I do things like, say I've done corporate videos and voiceovers, even those I've learned stuff, because one time I was doing one where it was about the pump, the pain pump. And I didn't know anything about it, but I'm, saying the things that they're saying. And I was like, that's interesting. And then I was just going to have some surgery, and because of that, I said, oh, I want that pump. Because you control your pain management rather than having to wait to call.
Wait for them to be, waiting for you
and
to
they
call
find
them.
that people use, most people use less if they have the pump, because they know they have control over it. You can get it whenever you want. Whereas if you have to wait, you're not sure they're going to come.
That's
so it's
true.
like, feels like a pain is coming. I need somebody to give me medication. But if I know I can push the button, it's like, doesn't feel that bad. I can wait.
Okay, I've never heard that. The pain pump, wow.
Yeah, and this last one, I did one on a voiceover on a doctor that worked with schizophrenic patients, and I learned schizophrenic, not schizophrenia, because you have to pronounce everything correctly.
Oh, okay.
And just all the different things that the doctor had to do and make sure. And then the person was going through their medications, and this one, and then had a relapse. But you learn about it from playing these characters. So I like that.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. Wow. I think
You said you went to school. When you went to school, you went for a particular degree. What you wanted. I know you said you did it at the conservatory.
Boston Conservatory. So I got a degree in drama musical theater.
Theater. That's it. Okay.
And then years later, I got a special certificate at NYU for film production. And that was kind of fun. It was people from all over the world in this intensive 6-week course, starting early in the morning till midnight. Yeah, I did. It was a different. So then I got to know how everything
comes together.
works, and everybody was giving something different from their own experiences.
Okay.
Like I had a friend who was a professional editor, so he knew all about that, and other people that. But what I actually brought that I didn't know, I'm thinking I'm coming with no tech. But I actually had been on professional sets, on big budget professional sets, and other people hadn't. And so bringing that.
You
and
brought
then
that to the group, yes.
They split you up into small groups to make films on different things. And one time, just by happenstance, there were 5 of us, and we were all women in our group.
Wow.
And we all said we all want to learn. So what we did was we took turns, so different parts of whatever we were doing. One person would be doing the lights, one the camera, one the thing. So we all did it that way, so everybody got to experience every part of the filmmaking. Wow. Whereas my friend, who was in a group with men, they did what they specialized in. And I said, and he said, oh, he edited. I said, why would you edit? That's what you do. And he said, well, because I know how to do it better. Like,
oh, well.
But we're in school.
School, yeah.
Wouldn't you want to? So that was like a different thing. Just a different way of thinking. I was so glad I was in that group with women that decided everybody's going to have a chance to do everything, and we all just, a lot of camaraderie. And working together and learning, because we're all there to learn.
To learn.
Mm-hmm. That was beautiful. Yep, that was fun.
And I'm not sure if I asked this question. How did you become part of the Roxbury Film Festival?
My mother and Lisa's mother were very good friends.
Oh, I think I heard you tell me.
And so I've known Lisa since she was a kid.
Oh, wow.
And then she started this group, Color of Film.
Film Collaborative,
and
yes.
Yep, and she invited me, and I joined that and went to meetings.
So you've been with them almost from the beginning.
Yeah, I need to find out how long, because I wasn't sure how long.
How about back to 1990, I want to say 8. Yep. That's how far back it goes.
Oh, I see.
That I remember.
So,
The reason I say that is the film festival was the first article that I wrote in paper for my publication, which is now online. But when I first started my publication, it was in paper, and that was when they did the first film festival.
wow.
And I wrote an article. At that time, there was only 8 films, so I think it was like maybe 2 or 3 days long.
Right.
And I got to see all the films, and that was one of the very first articles that I wrote.
Wow, that's so beautiful. I love the
And
way
I
things go
love
full
it.
circle and everybody's connected.
Yes, and I love it. You know, it was beautiful. So to see it
And now they have
being
so many organizations that work with
them.
like the Secret Society of Black Creatives.
See?
That has a collaboration with Rox Film.
Oh, good.
And SAG-AFTRA
Yeah.
has sponsored Rox Film.
See?
And actually, that's how I found out about Secret Society of Black Creatives.
Oh,
was
'cause-
through Rox Film. They were doing something, and I was like, I'd love to be a part of that.
Oh my goodness,
They
and here
invited
you
me,
are.
and so now I'm part on the board, and it's great.
Oh, that's wonderful. You know, when you look at filmmakers or actors and actresses of color in our community, and better yet, even in our city and state, and for us to have that connection, you know, it's a beautiful thing because
It is.
we're telling our stories.
Yes.
And to me, that is one of the most important things in my life, which is why I run and produce this show. Because I want my sisters and brothers, whether they're artists, filmmakers, stage producers, stage actors or actresses, to come on and tell our communities our stories.
And we can tell
their stories,
all
and we can
of our stories.
Yes.
Because when we don't have control, then they only let out certain
Certain
stories.
pieces, that's right.
And I often tell filmmakers that are going to be submitting films that we want to tell our stories. Just know it doesn't have to be your saddest, most tragic story. It can also be your funny story, your happy story.
Thank you.
One of the stories that I loved in
We're
this
going
one-
to tell that story when we come right back. We're going to a break, and we will be back, and Andrew's going to tell us the story.
Okay. I'm ready. How's it work?
You look great. We should probably take it off. We got a problem.
Yeah, you wish.
Well, Linda called in and can't make it.
No.
Yeah, she blew us off. So,
So I'm not going to be, yet again, a lesbian bride.
Right, it's kind of busy, but we can fit 2 more in. Oh, believe me, it's worth it. You can take off your suits in there, and then join us in the playroom for the Zumba party.
Well, it looks like she's not going to show up. I guess we can finalize this.
Victoria! Hurry!
You had me hypnotized so I would forget everything my
Cares. Mrs. Snow, you've committed fraud. Not only is it illegal, but there are clear stipulations in the will that in the case of fraud, you forfeit your portion of the estate.
Blanca, just sign right here and it's all yours.
Wow. That was the part I waited for because I was waiting for the push-in and the, oh my God. Excuse us. Welcome back to Artists of Color.
Thanks.
And of course, my guest has been Andrea Lyman, who was in the film that you saw. And it was like, oh my goodness, I
those
love
other
that.
clips were ones that we produced. Those were not the Christmas one, but the other ones were a group of us that worked together and have been putting on
Different short films?
Yeah.
I love
yeah,
that,
like
though.
for 48-hour film festival and other kinds of film festivals. So it's been a lot of fun.
Oh my goodness. But that piece, that ending was like, okay. Because I think I like watched it a couple of times. And I said, I can't wait for this piece to come at the end. You gotta have that. That was beautiful.
Fun. Yep.
Yeah. She flew in there and the guys tried to hold her back and I'm saying, not gonna work.
Naheem Garcia is also in that film.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, he plays one of the dwarves, but
Yup.
they're not dwarves. What are they? Hap. He plays Hap. I forget what they call the Jolly somethings. Holly Jollies.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
7 of them.
Oh my goodness. That was a good film.
Yeah,
I
it
like
was
that
fun.
piece.
It was fun.
I really like
The one where I'm in the wedding dress.
Yes,
that was a
explain.
48-hour film, and usually our team all like just wrote something together. But this time we got some real writers to write a script, and they had a whole script ready. And our 2 principal actors that were supposed to be in it, something came up for each of them at the last minute, so they couldn't come. And we said, "Oh shoot!" So we have everybody, and then we trying to brainstorm what to do, and then we finally said, "You know what? Let's do it on that." And so that's why. So when I say, "Oh yeah," so, no, what? They're not coming. We didn't, as if
So
that was really good.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah. And so
That was
yeah, we did.
perfect.
It was funny because it was us brainstorming to come up with an idea, and then something else happened, and.
And it's
in
like
the
a
beginning, we
connection.
have somebody coming in, and we do like a Law and Order on the such and such and such and such. They were going to make this film, but the such didn't show up. Dun dun. One of the people did that.
I liked that. I liked that. That was that was cool. That was
Yeah,
really
we had a lot of
really
fun.
Nice.
And one thing, if you're going to be making a film, and this is what I've always said, because you don't know what's going to work, especially your short films, your new films. You don't know what's going to work and what's not going to work. You don't know if it's going to be a waste of people's time. So make sure you get the food right. So you make sure you feed people what they want. I always ask ahead of time, what's your favorite source of caffeine?
Oh, really?
You know, because if it's Coke or coffee or tea or whatever, so that we'll have it. What's your favorite snack? So we might not have exactly what we want, but if it's a choice between, regular chips and Fritos, and you like Fritos, we're gonna make sure we have that.
Fritos.
And then for the lunch, the first time we did it, we got one of my mom's friends, a senior citizen, to do like the buffet of food, because what people forget, because you can't do restaurant catering, you don't have that kind of money.
Right.
But senior citizens that do these luncheons and things for their friends and brunches and all, they know how to do it. And I said,
yes, they do.
So pretend it's an open house so that we don't know when we're going to be eating.
Okay. Andrea, thank you for joining
you.
me today.
Thank you for inviting
I've
me.
learned so much and I've had such a great time with you.
I've had
There's
a
more.
ball.
There's more to come, and we must have you back again.
Thank you.
So I want to thank my TV audience for being with us today. I am Elaine Hall-Corbin, your host, and you have been watching Artists of Color with my guest, Andrea Lyman. Have a great day. See you all soon.
Thank you.